A very good evening. Can I see some messages on the chat if all of you can hear me clear and loud before we start off with the session? Hi, good evening, Vishnu. Hi. So just to confirm that all of you can clearly hear me, I would really like if you can send me some confirmation that you are able to hear me clear and loud. Okay. Thank you, Vishnu. Thanks for your confirmation. Yes, great, Anish. Thank you. So, um, so shall we start off with our session today? Uh, as a starting point, what we would do is today we will just brush up through what we had done yesterday. You can fast, so it will be like a recap to what we had done yesterday. Um, in the chat session yesterday, one thing that was asked over and again was to share the CLI commands for us to start off with. Okay, so I am going to give you a link here. Okay, the link to the CLI. Now, this is an Angular page developed by the Angular team. Okay, they're given 4 basic commands that you can use. Okay, and these 3 commands are the ones which we would be using again and again and again. So if you can remember just 3 of these commands, okay, you can start off with your Angular application. So since many of you asked me to share the slide, I'll just give me a second. It was uh, it was in this slide that we had the commands, and all these commands, the CLI commands, are there on the website. Okay, so I'm going to share the link in the chat, and the next thing I would ask anyone who would like to be an Angular developer. One of the best feature of Angular is that it is well documented. So the Angular team has come up with such an amazing, what do you call, a documentation on how you can work out on Angular, your doubts, your syntaxes, all that is very well documented. And that's again one reason that people opt to go with Angular. So I would like to share that docs here, where you can, your first app, it gives you all the details. So I'm going ahead sharing that link too, so that anyone who would aspire to be a Angular developer or a front-end developer can always look at this document. This should be like the most important reference book. And next, I would again share one more link. Okay, that is if you people would like to try out the code that we are discussing at this point of time, you can actually do it on live. Okay, there is a live Angular test website where you can try out the code. So let me share that link too. I had shared that link yesterday, but then again, just for reference, I'm doing that again. StackBliss, where you can start off with a new app. It can be Angular, React, or any of the technology that you would like to. So we would be going with Angular. And this is the link. Okay. Now, just to recap what we had discussed yesterday, Angular is a JavaScript framework, and Angular team has given us a CLI. Okay, okay, which is a command line interface. Okay, using the command line interface, you can create your project, you can create the files in it. So if you need to start off with a project, your first step would be to create a lot of files. Okay, and those files are automatically created by the Angular CLI. You don't have to remember what are the names of the files, what is the code that has to go into each of those files. And the best part of this is just not that the files are being generated. The best part of this is that the CLI also makes it so much ready that you can just type ngserve. Ngserve is a command. ngserve ngserve is a command to simply start the app. And when you start the app, it just beautifully starts running. Okay, so you have a very basic app that would be running when you try out ngserve after creating your first project. Okay, and now to the code part of it. So let's okay, so this is the project. Okay, like I said, don't get scared, don't get worried on seeing so many folders, so many files. All this is not that has to be worrying a person who is going to start off with Angular. So the only thing that you have to look at is, at this point of time, being a startup in Angular, is that you have to go into the source folder. Okay, and the source folder, when you go into the source folder, there is an index.html file, which is the starting point of this application. So once you go to the index.html file, it takes you to the approot. Now what is approot? Approot is simply what do you call it, like a pointer to a component. So whenever Angular's compiler sees approot, it takes you to the app folder and searches where it can find that approot. Okay, and it finds approot in app.component.ts. Okay, so you can okay, let me just enlarge the screen so that it can be visible. Is the code visible? Can I get some answers, please? Is the code visible? Should I increase the font a bit more? Yes. So I take it for positive that the font is visible. Thank you so much. Okay. So once you go to the index.html file, the approot selector takes you to the app.component.ts, and one component. Okay. I think uh, Sharath has asked me to be a bit more louder. Okay, I'll be a bit more louder. Sharath, can you hear me now? Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to look at what is a component. Like I said, component is a small part of an application. Okay, the component is a small part of an application and of an Angular application, and so many components together form modules. Okay, let me show you the slide again. So I think today all of you are in a better position to understand structure of Angular. Okay, so what we did yesterday was we looked into components, and in components we found out that there are 4 files. There's an HTML file, there's a CSS file, there's a TS file, and there's a spec.ts file. So HTML is to put in the HTML tags, CSS is for style sheeting, and TS is for the business logic or any logic. Okay, I believe Tony Matthew says this is a noise disturbance. Just give me a second. Okay. So can you hear me now, well and clear? Okay. So I was saying, so there are 4 files: HTML for HTML tags, CSS for the CSS styling, TS for TypeScript, and spec.ts is the testing unit testing file. Okay. Now is it all clear now? I think there is audibility issue, or is it loud and clear? Can all of you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So we'll start off. So in our component, we have 4 files. We have an HTML, CSS, TS, and spec file. Okay. So these were the 4 files that we are having in an Angular component. So let's look at this. There are 4 files here: app.component.css, app.component.html, app.component.spec.ts, and app.component.ts. So these files together form a single component, and this component is a part of a module. Okay. So when you have one more module can have more than one component. Okay, that's what we have discussed till yesterday. Now the first topic that we discussed yesterday was interpolation. Okay, let me remove all this. Okay, and here we just coming here, saving it. Okay, and the first concept that we worked out is interpolation. Interpolation is simply putting two angular brackets and typing in a variable that is there in the TS file, and it displays that variable there. To run a project, we use ngserve, and it starts running. To see the results, we'll have a link. Now, that was the first concept that we studied, interpolation. The next topic that we studied was structural directives, ngIf and ngFor. Okay, ngIf is used to conditionally display a div. So if you have a condition on based on which a particular div has to be shown or hidden, you can use ngIf. So it's like an if-else statement. If you have a true, then it has to show, and if you have a false, it doesn't show. So ngIf is a tool for it, and ngFor is used to loop through an array. Okay, so I will be showing an example of both so that we just recap on what we did yesterday. So ngserve is a CLI command. ngserve is a CLI command given by Angular to run an Angular project. So the results of the program being run, the Angular program being run, can be seen on localhost 4200. Okay. Just give me a second while the project runs. And we also, along with ngIf, discussed on ng template, which is used. Ng template is used to show a true or false statement, to execute a particular true or false statement. Not sure why the app is taking so long to run. Let's wait a minute more. Okay. So this is one way of running the application. You go over to the integrated terminal in Visual Studio. The one other way that you can run this project is, see, we have to look at, okay, it started running. So you have to look at this folder E colon, and in E colon there's a new folder, and in the new folder there is a project folder. So what we'll go do is, the other option of running this application is going over to E drive, seeing the new folder, and you see the projects here. You can run your command prompt here, cmd. Your command prompt opens up. Okay, your command prompt opens up, and here you can do the same command, ngserve. It's as equal and same as running on the integrated terminal. So let's not do that because the program is already done. And what do we see here? Angular Live Development Environment Server is listening to localhost 4200. So if you go to this localhost 4200, you will see this app running. Okay, let's go to 4200. and see what's there in it. So it says project ngif ng template ng4. That's what exactly that we typed here. So let's go back there. Okay, and put it up on a H1 so that it becomes more visible. Okay, same way we'll put all this up in H1. H1, and first thing is we'll look into ng if. Okay. Okay, so I'll have the screens side by side so that it can be seen, the results can be seen on a live basis. So our first example was interpolation, and so the interpolation is here where we have in the component.ts file. In the component.ts file, there is a title variable which is assigned to a string project, and if you see that using interpolation, we display that value on our HTML file. Next, we're going to ngIf. Like what I said is ngIf is a statement to be used in case you have a statement should be shown true or false. I'm going to do a quick example. I'm going to put up a h1 tag, and I'm going to say ngIf or ngIf is equal to show, and it says hello, and I'm going to close the tag h1. Okay. Now there is a variable called show. I'm going to put it up on the ts file. Okay. Show variable, and that's a boolean, and I'm going to equate it to true. I'm going to save it. So now when you see the next time the app runs, since ngIf is set to show and the show has a value true, it displays hello. Now I'm going ahead. Here I'm going to put it as false. I'm going to save this. And what happens is that hello goes out. Okay, there's a question from Jitesh. What is ngserve? Okay, ngserve is a command given by Angular CLI to run an Angular application. So ngserve is a one-time command. You run the command once, and the Angular application will compile your entire Angular CLI will compile the entire Angular application, and it will give you an output on localhost 4200. Okay, so I write this program, and if I need to test what is happening on my application, I can just do ngserve, and you go to localhost 4200, and it shows you the result. One other important thing about ngserve command is each time you make a change, you save it, it automatically runs the command. You don't have to run ngserve each time. Okay, so this is what there's a question from Deepika. Please show if condition not based on boolean. We can work out on that, but that would be at the end of the session. We would have to cover up new topics to do. So the first question that first topic that we would be discussing today is on ng switch. ng switch is the next topic that we would be discussing today. So ng switch, like any switch case statement, is for you to select between a set of options. So like if you, for example, you have a color selection, okay, and you have 4 colors on a variable, okay, and if you need to display to the user which is the color that is to be displayed. For example, I am having a div, okay, and I'm giving a, just give me a second, let me, I believe all the screens, the display all is visible to all of you. Can I get a confirmation, please? Okay, so the first topic that we would be doing. Yes, okay, thank you Nitin. Okay, So we're going to start off with ng switch. So what is ng switch? It is like a switch case statement in any of programming language. So it starts with a keyword given by Angular ng switch, okay, and we are going to assign a variable color to it. Okay, now let's see what happens. So we have the switch statement, and usually in a programming language, what happens? We put up switch of color. This is how we do. So the alternative of that in Angular is in square brackets ng switch and color. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to create a list of divs below it, beneath it. Okay, we're going to create a list of divs below it, and we're going to tell if a particular color is occurred, what should we do? Okay, so let's start off with like this: div star ng switch case. It all of this follow camel casing, so please be careful on it, and it's really case sensitive. So in case you have a wrong spelling, it will not show you the result. So it is that's a div condition, and it's blue, and we're closing the div. Okay, now I'm going to do this with one another color, and then the last statement that we would have is a div with ng switch. Okay, switch it will be ng switch default. Okay, and there will be no equal to sign. Okay, please keep a note of it. And this is you have not selected a color. Okay, and we are going to close the div. So I'm going ahead, and I'm going to save this. Okay, and okay, let's put all of this in an h1 tag. It becomes more visible. Okay, so what is the result that we got here? You have not selected a color. Why is it? So first we will evaluate the statement, and the next step would be we will see how we got this result. First, we are creating a div. Okay, we are creating a div, and we are giving us ng switch statement and assigning it to a color. Now what happens is the switch statement checks out for the color, and when it checks out for a color, it will loop through each one of this value. So it will check whether this div ng switch case if it's blue in color. If it's blue in color, it will select blue. Let's make it red to find the difference. Red, and we're going to save it. Okay, it still shows you have not selected a color. The reason is because we have not initialized a variable. Okay, we have not created a variable color. So we'll go ahead, create a variable color of the type string and equate it to blue. Okay, and then we'll see what happens. So the color blue came over here. How did it happen? It simply happened because the value of color in the TS file is blue, and that value is taken. It goes to the first statement ng switch case, whether if it is blue. Yes, it is blue, so it displays this div, and all the other divs are rejected. In the first example, where we had not set it to blue, we will set it to pink. We'll just save it. So what happens? It comes across this statements: ng switch case blue, no, that's not true. Then it goes to ng switch case red, no, that's not true. So then there is only one option left: ng switch case default. So if all this condition the switch case doesn't apply, it directly goes to the default statement. Okay, so I hope ng switch is understood. Can I see some confirmation, please? Did all of you understand? Okay, great. ng switch. Yes, thank you. Now, the next topic that we would be dealing with is ng class. Okay, that's another powerful tool or powerful directive given by Angular. Okay, a powerful directive given by Angular to implement classes or CSS classes. So let's see how it works. So for that, now again, back to the basics. Okay, on the component file, the selector, which means the name of this component, is AppRoot. Okay, all the HTML code relating to this component, AppRoot component, is there in app.component.html, the file that we were working on now, app.component.html. And all the styles that is relating to this component is in app.component.css. Let's find out where it is. It is here, app.component.css. Great. So what we are going to do now is we are going to create two or three style classes. Okay. So let's do it this way. Okay. It would be uh, italics class. Okay. And going to font style italics. Okay. That's one first style that we're going to give. Next would be okay. So we will be implementing three classes. Just give me a second. Italics, then bold class. Okay, font style is bold. And now what we are going to do now is we are going to create a ng class. Okay, so let's make it a h1 tag, and we are going to close this. Okay, and I'm going to put up a text here, welcome. Okay, now I need to apply the styles to it. So what are the ways in which I can apply a style to this? So Angular gives us a directive called ng class. Okay, and we are going to bind it to something. Okay, so usually what happens if you need to assign a design or a class to a text, what do we do? Let's do it in the HTML way. Okay, if we need a class is equal to Alex, we'll see what happens. What is the name that we Alex class? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to call that here. It was not style, it was class, and then save it and see how it came out. It became italics. So what happened here? It's a normal HTML. We are simply calling a class italics class to welcome, and Angular is very much working with it. It has no issues. So the other option, which is a more powerful and a better Angular way of doing it, is the ng class. So let's see how that works. Okay, the ng class is, there are three ways in which you can assign values to this. So what are the three ways in which you can assign values to it? It can be a string. Okay, it can be an array, it can be an object, or it can be a function. Let's look into this one by one. So now I have ng class here. Okay, I need to apply the style italics class to it. What do? I can just simply assign it as a string. So how do I assign it as a string? I put a single inverted comma, and I put italics class here. Okay, and I save it. Okay, and let's see what happens. So the class gets applied here. Let's comment out all this. So we'll just have our focus on the welcome alone. Save it. Save it. We see only welcome. So there is only one class that has been applied now. Okay. Now in the case where I need more than one class to be attached to it, so I have the bold class also. Okay. So I go over to the CSS file. Okay. I copy it. I go to the HTML file. And simply paste that here. Let's see what happens. We'll assign a color. Okay, green class, and we will just apply this class there. Let's see what happens. So the font color has become green, and it has implemented the italics class. So two things are happening here. On a welcome text, I can assign two classes here using the ng class. The same way, I can assign an array. I can do the same thing. I can get the same result by using an array. So let me use an array and show you the same example, h1, and you have an ng class. Okay, and that ng class is again in a double quotes, and we are going to define an array. So array is always on square brackets, and we are going to call up each of the classes that we need as array inputs. So the first class was italics class, and the second class was green class. Okay, and we're going to close this, and we are going to write second welcome array method. Okay, we're going to do a h1 close tag. Let's see what happens. See, you have the same result, and you passed out this arguments. We have passed out the function. We have passed it out as a italics and green, both as array variables. So if you have more than one class or one property to be applied to a particular text, then you can use an array method. Now there is one another way you can do it. Okay. The next way is you can define an object. Okay. Now I'm going to do this. This would be one of the best ways in which you can actually implement a logic. Okay. So now I have a situation where only if I need the italics class, if I use a boolean and I set it to true, italics should be applied. So let's start off with creating an object. Okay. Let's create an object. Okay. Let's call it style object. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to define two variables in it, and those two variables are our styles. Okay. So let's call the style as a parameter into this. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to true. Okay. And next, the second style. Okay. Green class, and I'm going to set it to true again. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign this style class to the HTML here. So it is going to be a ng class, okay, is equal to, let's just give it the name of that object, style object, and let's put it as third welcome welcome. Let's save it. Let's see what happens. What do you see the result? It says third welcome. Again, both italics and the green classes are active on this third welcome. Now, what I needed is on the back end. What I feel is I don't need the green class to be true. I at some point of time I'm saying it has to be false. Okay, due to some business logic or something like that, and I'm going to save it. Okay, and let's see what happens. You see, the green color has gone from here. That is because how this works is when if the ng class sees object here, it goes to the object. So it goes to the object. So where is our object? It goes here. It looks out for style object. Yes, wonderful. Style object is here. And then what it looks out is for the first class, italics class. It says true. True means it has to be applied. So it applies the first style to it. Then it goes to the second class. It says false. And it says no. So you don't have to apply the green class to it. So when you see the result, it doesn't have the italics. Now let's vice versa it. False here and true here. Let's see how the output comes out to be. So the italics is gone and the green color is active here. So this is one way of doing it. So now we have discussed 3 ways of doing the same job, okay, using the ng class. Now the next way is by using a function. You can actually return. Okay, so let's start with again a h1, and in that we're going to have an ng class. Okay, and it's equal to get style. Okay, and this is going to be the fourth welcome. We're going to say /h1. Okay, and what we're going to do, we're going to define a function get style. So let's go ahead, define a function. And what is that in the function that we are going to return? What are we going to return? We're going to return a string which says italics class. Okay. And let's see what happens. See, you have fourth welcome to be true. Now if I change it to a green class, let's see what happens. The fourth welcome becomes true. So like I discussed, there are 4 ways. There are 4 ways in which you can apply a style to a div or a container or a particular section. I hope the concept is clear. Is there any confusion, any doubts to be cleared? Can I have a confirmation, please? I think there's a delay in the response. I've not heard from any of you. Okay, okay, fine. Great, great. That's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. Great. So now the topic that we have covered is ng class. So ng class is a simple way of us applying a class to a part of a text. Okay, there is yeah. So there is a question from Jitesh. He's asking us, can we send a style object to a function? I think what the Jitesh meant was, can we have a object returned from a function? Yes, you can still do that. So if your get style function here returns an object, and object is of a particular pattern, it still works. Okay. So Jitesh, your question, the answer to your question is yes, it can be done. Okay. So now we would be going to the next topic. The next topic that we would be covering would be next topic that we would be covering is event binding. So can someone tell me? Okay, Anju has asked me to show the TS file. Yes, one now I'll do that. Okay, is it clear? Anju, I hope you have seen the TS file. So I'll be going ahead with the next topic. Okay, great. Event binding. So can someone tell me what is an event? I would like to hear from you people. How can we return both classes? Um, I didn't get your question, Anju. Okay. I think what Anju asked was if I need to send both italics and the green class, how do I do it? So you can just separate it here with uh, here, save it. Okay. So I am just clearing a doubt that Anju has asked. So if I had to return more than a single class, so if I had two classes to be returned, how do I do it? So this is how you do it. On the return statement, you include both the classes, and if you see the fourth welcome has become italics and it has become italics and green in color. Okay, I hope I was able to answer your question. Okay, back to my question. What is an event? So I have an answer from Vishnu. He says when mouse moves over event maker. That's correct. That's one way of doing it. Vishnu, what you said is right. When mouse moves over, an event is generated. Okay, that's good. Nisha says the event is a button click. Yes, that's also true. Again, that's also a partial answer. Action taken by user Nitin. Okay, that is again action captured by the browser. That's how it is. Okay. So Sharath has told me that it is a button click. Yes, all of this is true. All of your answers are correct. So I would define event can be a transaction or occurrence. Okay, Tony Matthew has come closer to the answer, or that is the answer. So the interaction between a browser and JavaScript is through events. So on what you can explain it in the most simple terms is a button click. Button click is the biggest event or the most common event everyone knows. So whenever a button is clicked, an event is generated, and it's through that event that the browser or a part of your code knows that something has happened or some action has to be taken. So event is an interaction between your browser and your JavaScript of a particular occurrence that has happened. Okay, great. So how do we capture events in Angular? Angular has a beautiful way of doing it. Okay. So even that's called event binding. Okay. So how do we event binding? Let's look into it. So since button click is a topic that commonly everyone has told or everyone can relate. Everyone can relate an event to a button click. I'm going to start off with a button. So button. Okay, let's create a button. It says okay, and it says hi. Okay, I'm going to save this button. Okay, and let's see what happens. You get a button here. So let's put some better text here. Welcome. Okay, and save it. Okay, so you get a button here. Is the screen visible to all of you? Okay, yeah. So we have a button, and there's a welcome here. And when I click on this, nothing happens. When I click on this button, nothing happens because nothing has been told when a button is clicked. There's nothing that has been defined. So when a button click event occurs, we have not told the button, or we have not told JavaScript, or we have not told Angular to do anything. So let's go ahead and tell Angular to do something. So let's assign it to a function. So we are talking about a click event. So when you click on a button, so let's simply create a click event. Okay, it says click, and let's assign a function to it. Okay, when you click, you should do this function. So let's assign it to greetings. Okay, let's simply assign it to greetings and save it. Okay, and we'll go ahead to the TS file where we have all our business logic, or any logic that has to be implemented is implemented in the TS file. So let's go, and what is the name of the function that I gave? Greetings. Let's take it as in greetings. Okay, and let's define the function. So what are we going to do in it? We're going to tell console.log, okay, button has been clicked. Okay, okay. I'm going to save this. It's all compiled, and let's see here. So now, sometime back when I clicked on welcome, nothing happened. So now I'm going ahead, clicking. I'm going to click on button, and it says button has been clicked. How does this happen? It simply happens because now there is a button here. Okay, the button that is an HTML tag. It is created here, and it waits for an input. It waits for someone to click on it, and when someone clicks on it, so that is what we are defining here in curly braces. Sorry, in rounded braces. It says click. So when we clicked, and click event has been understood by the browser, or Angular finds out that someone has clicked on it. So what does it do? It goes to the right hand side. It says go find greeting function, and it goes to the greeting function, and what does it do? Console.log button has been clicked. Okay, so there are other events also in Angular. Okay, like any JavaScript framework or jQuery, those people who are working on jQuery or JavaScript knows that there are other events. Let's try out one more. This one. I'm going to look at a paragraph tag. Okay, I'm going to write hi. This is a paragraph. Okay, I'm going to close this. Okay? And after I close it, what I need is when someone moves their mouse over this paragraph, okay, I need an alert to be generated. I need an alert to be generated saying that you have put your mouse over the paragraph. Okay, so let's do that. So it is mouse enter. Okay, that is the event. And what I'm going to do is I'm going ahead m e in event. Okay, I'm just putting it this way. I'm just giving it a name, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead to the TS file. I'm going to write a function to this. The first time we used console.log, that is to console data on the console of inspect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to alert. We're going to use alert statement, which prints out an alert. You have mouse over a paragraph. Okay. And I'm going to say this. So let's see what happens. See. So okay, this is one of the most irritating kind of example, because each time your mouse goes over, it just keeps generating the alert. But then this is just one way of showing you how an event is triggered. So now what is happening is I'm moving my mouse over the paragraph, and alert is being generated. So what is the alert? You have moved you have mouse over a paragraph. So this is how you can capture events. Now, at times, mouse over events are just not only mouse over events are just more than what do you say, um, just click and key up. There can be other kind of events. Now, when an event happens, there are a lot of things that's happening in the background. It is when you just say it's a click, it is not just a click that's happening. There are hundreds of other things that's happening, hundreds of data transactions that's happening. So let me just show you one example. Okay, so we will go back. I would be closing this because this is each time my mouse moves over it, it just starts putting up that alert. So this I would be removing this again. I'm going to save this. Okay, so on a click event, okay, I just don't need the click. I just don't need the click event alone. I need to get some information on what are the things that happened along with the click. So what I'm going to do is there is a event variable that's defined by Angular, okay, and I'm going to pass this event variable, okay, and I'm going to see what is there in that event. What are the events that took place? So console log button has been clicked. Along with it, I'm going to console log. So I'm going to receive that variable here, and I'm going ahead. I'm going to console.log the event, okay. And let's see what happens. So on the front end, you don't have any changes that has happened. You just have a button here, and I'm going to click on this, and let's see what happens. So to see this, I would make my screen bigger. So when I clicked on it, the first part of our code has been executed, which says the first part of our code is being executed, which says button has been clicked. Yes, button has been clicked. Then there is a mouse event that has happened. Now, what is a mouse event? Let's go into detail. Okay, on the mouse event side, see, there's a lot of data that has been passed on. Which button it is, button index, what is the x and y coordinates, and a lot of things. So where did it come from? Where all these details? So there are a lot of details. So source element, there is a button, and if you need to capture the base URL, it can be done from here. So there is a lot of data that can be captured from this event. So like from this button, if you need to know what is the text that is here, you can simply take it from here. So if I need to find out what is the text here, I can just console log it. Okay, so let's see. Now I'm console logging the event, and also I'm going to console.log of event dot source element dot inner HTML. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, when I click on this button, see it says welcome. So at any point of time, if I this is just an example. So there are a lot of other data that you can pull out from that event. So this is just an example. At any point of time, if I need to know what is the on from which button or you know from where what is the content of this click, I can use this. Okay, so this is how an event is used. Okay, I hope event binding is understood. Is there any doubt? Great. Okay. So let's do one more thing. Okay, there are two other concepts that I wanted to complete today, but then let's see how it works out. So now next, what we're going to do is we have tried out buttons. We have tried out this ng class. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use events again. Okay, I'm going to use events, but this time it's not for a button, it's not for a paragraph, but it's for an input. So I'm going to have an input here, okay, and input type is equal to text, okay, and now one other event that Angular gives us for an input is key press, and when a key press happens, I'm going to call a function, okay. I'm going to save this, okay, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to define it here. Okay, key pressed, and I'm going to console log. First part is console.log. So this is one way we know that the function is being called. So key pressed, okay, and I'm going to stop it here. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm going here. So you see an input box here. I'm going to press a key, and it says key press. I'm going to press a key again, and it says key press the second time. So 4, 5, 6 times. Each time I press a key, the event is being triggered. So we're good to go. Now my requirement is not just the key press, not just knowing that a key has been pressed. If I need to know which key has been pressed, how do I do it? Can I get some answer from someone of you? Can someone tell me how am I going to find out which is the character or which is the key that I've pressed here? So I've pressed N here. I need to know that I've pressed key N. So can I get some answer from someone? Someone give me a suggestion on how we can do it. ASCII. Okay, Jitesh has come up from ASCII. Okay. ASCII, I'm not sure how that is to be done. No, that is not the answer. Tony Matthew has told from event. Okay. Cinda has said pass the event. I believe it is pass the event. Okay. Um, Event dot src element dot value. Okay, Jitu, passing the event and maybe yes. Okay. Okay. So I've got a correct answer from Jitu who says it's event.source element.value. So we'll have to go ahead and look. I don't think it's source element.value. Let's see. No, I'm not sure. So what I'm doing is first step, I'm going to put an event here. I'm going to pass the event there. Okay. I'm going to pass the event. Okay. I'm going to capture that event here. Okay. Let me capture that event here. And on each key press, I'm going to display the event as such. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to save this. I'm going to run this. Okay. So many of you have given me the answer event. That's correct. Event is the way of doing it. But what is the parameter that we would capture from the event? Even I also don't know. So we are going to experiment it together. We are going to find it out together. So what is the input that we're going to give here? I'm going to press a key N. Okay. Okay. So when I press the key N, okay, two things have happened. One is the keyboard event has been triggered and a key press event has been triggered. Key press is the text that we have console key press. So what is that? What is that we need? We need to find out which is the character that has been pressed here. So N is the character. Where do we find out this character N? Let's click on the key event. Go ahead, keep going ahead. And do we find out the value N somewhere? Can we find the value N somewhere? Can someone tell me where I would find the value N? Yes, Nitin has said me key, but how do I reach key? How do I access the variable key? Someone has to tell me how do I access the variable key there. Yes, great. All of you have found out it's a key. That's good. Great. That's right. But how do I access the key? Great. I'm really happy you guys are catching up and following up, answering the question rightly. I'm really happy about this. So it's event dot key. Okay, let's give it out right. So I have answers that it's event dot key. Okay, let's try out. So I'm going to console log event dot key and save it. Okay, I'm going ahead. I'm going to type in H here, and I got the result H. Yes, wonderful. That's correct. So congrats to all of you who have told the correct answer. That's the right way of doing it. So this is how we capture events uh, from a key press. So when we press a key, if you need to capture something, this is how you do it. Okay. Now with this concepts in mind, okay, I'm going over to the next topic, that is two-way binding. Now two-way binding is maybe one of the unique selling point, or when compared to other JavaScript framework, that is something that Angle. um, Nitin has asked if I can show him the HTML file. Yes, I'll be more than happy. Please press one more key. Okay, so I'm going to press one more key. That is what Sharath has asked me, and it says yes. So I think Sharath, you have a doubt whether HS will come or with just S. So what is happening is when I press a key. Okay, let me just explain this. So that whatever concepts have been told are clear. So when I press a key, when a single press is happening, okay, this key press will call this function. Okay, So the first time when I pressed H, okay, the key press function is called and this event is passed. And from that event, we are taking only the key that has been pressed, okay, not the input as such. Okay, it's not the full input that is being taken. It is only the key that has been pressed is taken. That is why the first time you see H, the second time you see H, S, and if the third time, if you see, if I keep typing, you just see the first character. It's not that the full string has been shown. Okay. So Sharath has asked if I can. Sorry, Nitin has asked if I can show him the HTML file. Yes, I would be more than happy to show it. So, uh, this is the HTML file. Okay, it simply is an input of type text and key press. You're calling a function. Now, similar to key press, there is key up and key down. So I would leave it to all of you to try out. Yes, Tony Matthew has asked how can we get the full string. Okay, so to get a full string, okay, again, since it is not part of this, but then I'll just go do it fast. Okay, key press event has been saved here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare a variable here, which says input var and assigning it to string, okay, and equating it to null. Okay. And when so what I'm going to do is this dot input var plus equal to event dot key. Let's see if this works out. Okay. So what you do is to this input var you add this event uh, okay, and let's see, we'll console dot log input var. Let's see if that works out. I'm not sure even if that's going to work out. Okay, so I'm going to press A. So the variable A came. Next, I'm going to press AA and see there's AA coming. So if I need to take in the full text, I'm going to type in Nixon Christian. So by the time I do the last one, you get this. So the backspace is not actually detected. You need to, you need to use a logic to find out if someone is using a backspace. Then you delete, you remove those variable from it, and then you go ahead with it. I hope I have answered your question, Tony. You show the attributes in a file. Attributes of event we have seen. Um, Jitesh, I'm yes. So NG model, yeah. So we are going ahead and we are going to discuss about two-way binding. Okay. So that is where we are going to use NG model. Okay. So we are done with events. Okay. So okay. So next, what we're going to do is uh, two-way binding. So what is two-way binding? Now, in again, we should have an input box. Okay, so we have an input. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the variable eng Angular's two-way binding ng model. Okay, and I'm going to assign this to a variable. Okay, name. Okay, and what I'm going to do is again, I'm going to come here. I'm going to have a name which is of the type string assigned to null. Okay, I'm going to save this. Okay, let's run our code and see what happens. Okay, we have come across an error. What is the error? It says can't bind ng model since it's not a non-MU property of input. Okay, so we have to import a forms module in the. Let's import from. So let's see and okay. So we are clear of the error. Okay. So for those people who are new to Angular, okay, please do not get confused by what I've done here. That I've imported a forms module and I've included it into the import module. Please don't get worried about all this. This is a topic that would be discussed once we come across app modules and creating more components. So this needs a bit more introduction than simply coming into a component and showing you some function. So let's not worry about what I did now. We're just going to see what is two-way binding. Okay. So let's start off with input. It says ng model is name. Okay, and type is equal to text. That's not actually necessary, but instead we just keep it that way. Okay, and what I'm going to do is using interpolation. Okay, I am going to put in the name here. Okay, so what is happening here? What is happening here? It is interpolation. Interpolation is just to show the value of the name or this variable or this whatever is this variable, it will display the name. So when we start off here, there is nothing here. Why? Because the variable is blank now. Now I'm going to type Nixon here. So what do you see? You see simultaneously that Nixon has been displayed here. Why is that Nixon here? The name Nixon has come here just simply because we are using interpolation. So what is that actually happened here? Let's go step by step. So okay, so I hope all of you are clear with the concept of interpolation. Interpolation at any point of time will evaluate an expression. Okay, interpolation will simply evaluate an expression, or it will. So the expression that we have here is the variable name. So what it does is Angular simply goes and fetches the value of name. So what is the value of name here? It's a blank string. There's nothing into it. Okay, so it's 0 now. What have I done? Using ng model. This is what Angular calls banana in a box. Okay, it is a syntax for two-way binding. Okay, so if you look at it, what Angular team calls it, or just for you to remember, it says banana in a box. Okay, so using the ng model. Okay, using the ng model, which is directive given by Angular, what we are doing is we are binding the variable name. Okay, we are binding the variable name to whatever is the input that is there in this. Okay, so I will explain it again. So we have an input. Okay, and input whatever variable I type. Okay, what we are doing is we are binding that variable that we typed into the name variable. Okay, so if I type in a here, the value of a gets immediately assigned to name. Okay, this is what Angular calls two-way binding. That is, so if you make a change, let me go ahead. Okay, let me go ahead. Okay, now the reason that we're calling it two-way binding is now there is a HTML element and there is a TS element. So whenever there is a change in name or in the front end or in the back end, so if in the TS, let me go ahead and give it the value hello. I'm going to save this. Last time when we ran the program, we didn't see this hello here, correct? The reason is because the string was assigned to 0 or it was a blank string. Okay, now when we run the program, we ran with the value hello assigned to the name string. So whenever there is a change in the value of name, it gets reflected both at the input as well as the string. Okay, um, did I was I able to convey the concept to all of you? Can I see your confirmation? I'm okay with explaining this concept again. This is because two-way binding is one of the most important concepts, or one of the most basic concept that is used in almost all Angular projects. So can I just see if all of you understood it? Okay, I got two confirmations. What about others? It's clear for me. Okay, great, great. Yes, great, great, great. That's nice. Very good. So, just in simple terms, I'm going to put this up again. Um, Two-way binding is a concept that is by means you can say you can assign the value, of the string to an input, and that is done using the ng model directive. And what happens is whenever there is a change in input, so there are two possibilities of change. Either the string can be changed from the ts file, we can change the value from ts side, or you can change it from the input side. Wherever a change happens, it gets reflected on both sides. So it's a two-way binding. How can take okay, what if there were any string which is already in the name variable while declaring? Yes, that's what the example that I showed you now. So I have already declared the name hello here. Okay, so it's already declared on the name variable, it's already declared and assigned. So that's a reason. Okay, let me change it. Okay, we'll do this again. Okay, just to get Nitin to understand it. So I'm going to save this. Now what is the value of the string here? It's blank. Okay, so since it's blank, it is not showing you any value here. Okay, so to make things a bit more clear, you have typed in, so maybe this way it becomes more clear. So now what is the value of the variable name? It is blank. Okay, nothing, there's nothing to it. So that's a reason you see nothing here, you see nothing here. Now I'm going ahead and I'm going to type one team. Okay, what happens when I type in one team? That one team comes here. Okay, so this is an example wherein I type in something and the value of name has changed. Now I'm going the other way around. Okay, I'm going other way around. I'm going to change the value of name here. I'm going to make it welcome, and I'm going to save this. Let's see what happens. See the value while I run the program. So I'm refreshing the page. So when I run the program itself, the welcome value is here, and it's also in the input box. That's because two-way binding is working. Okay, Mithun, I hope I was able to get this concept to you. Can you just give me a confirmation if you understood? Meanwhile, I'll just go to Deepika's question. How can take the value from input field using ng model? Exactly. This is the way you can do it. So what you can do is you're using the name value. You can use this name value anywhere you want. So if I wanted to print it here, okay, you can do it using the same method. So you can use a key press or a key up or key up dot enter. Okay. Let me do this in another example. Let me take a key up. Sorry, key up dot enter equal to display name. Okay, so we're going to keep it a simple function. We're going to create a simple function. And what does this function do? Let's go here, define what the function does. Display name. And what I'm going to do is just going to console.log, okay, this dot name. Okay, and let's save it. Okay. So just a quick info. Key up is a key up event. When you press a key up event is triggered. Okay, when you press on a key and you release your hand, a key up event is triggered. When you press a key and your hand is on the keyboard, the key down event is triggered. And when you press on the key, the moment you press on the key, a key press event is open. So when you press on enter and release your hand, that is this So I press on enter and release my hand. This function will be called. So let me call up this one, and I'm going to type in something like hello, and I'm going to press enter. You see, whatever I have typed in as hello. So what I did was simply print out the value of name. So when I typed in hello, I I just simply got the value of hello here. Okay, I'm just consoling whatever is the value. So if the value of hello is not assigned to this, I would have not got this hello here. Okay, I hope Deepika, I was able to answer your question. Do you have any doubts? I think it's almost time for us to wind up the session today. Okay. We would be having a session tomorrow also. We would be discussing on other topics again. Okay, and I hope all of you have got the concept that I've cleared, the concept that I have explained clear. um, can I see a confirmation from all of you on how it was the session informative? Munib, I believe you just joined the chat room now. The session is almost ended because it was supposed to be starting at 6 today. Okay, okay, great. I uh, I understand the session was useful to most of you. Okay, I'm really happy that I could help all you guys understand some concepts in Angular. Great, thank you, Anthony. Yes, Jitesh, we will have a session tomorrow also. Mostly that would be our last session. Great, thank you. Great, yes, thank you. That's really nice to know that I was able to help all you guys in whatever little concepts I know. I have been able to help you guys. Great. Um, One thing, anyone who I would like to recommend one thing to anyone who would aspire to be an Angular developer. Angular team has come up with such a awesome, what do you call, documentation that all your doubts can actually be cleared on their documentation here. Okay, the first step to being a really good developer is to have the patience to actually read through all this. So reading this is the shortest way you can be a really good Angular. It has a solution to almost all the problems, and you can use other platforms wherein you can find all the solution. So this is one document that has to be, the core reference for your Angular development life. Okay. Okay. So that would be the end of the session today. Hope all you guys a good evening, and thank you. Thank you so much for listening.